for a deep dive.
Hey Babs, welcome to another Oxygen Not Included Beginner's Guide, where I find my camera is angled slightly crookedly and a little bit down. That's better. Right. Welcome in. We have several issues I have spotted this morning. We're going to go through them. Also, I made a few promises last episode. Going to try and get to those as well, with the exception of flux ranching, which I do want to get to, but going to delay the actual ranching for a little bit because we need to do some setup beforehand. Oh, apologies. Clicked on the wrong thing and pressed the wrong key. There we go. Right, first issue we have is... let's get the game running. This petroleum is about to run out, and we're a little ways off. We're only 2.7 cycles, so it's not as big a rush as I thought it was, but let's do it anyway while we're here. So we've got the oil incoming now. We are about to power it, but what we don't want to actually happen is this run, because we've got polluted oxygen in this area. Make it out of steel temporarily. Have a high gas vent there. Basically, when the oil refinery runs, it I will show you in 2 seconds. it takes in crude oil and power, and produces petroleum and outputs natural gas too, as well, as it were. So we want to capture that so that we can put it into our tanks, so that that's a bit of free extra gas. But it'll be annoying to have to filter out this polluted oxygen. So if we can vacuum this before this gets up and running, job done, no problem. So that's our first problem, quote, solved. We'll see how that goes. Second problem, our water is running low, and the only thing that is actually running off this at the minute is our oxygen. So essentially, our oxygen is time limited. So we need to look at what we're going to do about getting more water. You know, that's going to last us a little while. You know, got dupes borrowing it for research and things. In fact, not hundreds. Oh. We're using it in the water cooler. I forgot. I quite often disable the water cooler. You still get the benefit from having it in your great hall and or banquet hall, but obviously you don't get the cooled down or whatever it is, the heat resistant buff, because they're not actually drinking any water. But that is actually, if we have a look, only a 0.2 cycle buff, so has limited use. Yeah, I quite often disable that. However, that's going to last us a little while. Plus, I do think there's some ice in here. There is, in fact, 4 kilos of ice that might eventually melt. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's not renewable. So, if you are playing spaced out, you can do this. You can go to the star map. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You can go to the star map and click on your asteroid, and this gives you a list of geysers. If you are playing on vanilla, I don't know if there's actually anything of a similar ilk. I had a brief look. I can't think of anything. I had a brief Google. I can't see that there is. Bob Locks the King. Hi, first time chatter. Welcome in. So we can see we have found, and there may be multiples of these. These are, it just lists each one once. So we've got natural gas geyser, hot polluted oxygen vent, always useful. An infectious polluted oxygen vent, always useful. Saltwater geyser, a volcano, iron volcano, aluminum volcano, cobalt volcano, which I haven't seen yet that I can think, and a cool steam vent, and 5 unknown geysers. So if we come back to the map, I do have this geyser that we've not dug out yet, and I do have this geyser that I've not dug out yet, but they will be included in the ones that are listed, because we've actually found them, even if we haven't uncovered what they actually are. The game knows what they are. But I do have this, 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 and this undiscovered. So that is one of the things I want to get sorted today is to get into those areas and start discovering. So I think the first thing we're going to do is, and I might regret this in the future just because I'm just picking a random spot, go through there. This will also give our diggers something to do. Bob Lux the King. Whoa, you are a pro at this game. If you mean procrastinator, I would agree. I am quite experienced, I will admit. But I keep making silly mistakes, so I'm not sure pro is quite the term I would use for myself. So let's find the water ones that we did say. So basically they're both here. We've got cool steam vent, which is not very cool because it actually outputs at 110 degrees. And it only outputs an average of 1.3 grams per second. No, sorry, 1.3 kilos per second. Which is better than a slap in the face, but it's still not brilliant. Also, we have to massively cool it down. Even this water that's condensed down here is at 98 degrees. So we'll bear that in mind, but that's not going to be our first call. And then a saltwater geyser, slightly better at 95 degrees. We haven't averaged that yet, but I'm going to guess about 3 kilos. So that's much more our speed, but does also still come with the issue of having to cool the water. Not a big issue, but it is an issue all the same. Something that we would have to overcome. Bob, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you spent playing this game? This game in general, I'm on 1,500, I think, hours, without checking Steam, off the top of my head. This particular run, 45.86 hours. So, before we make a final decision, because we've not found a brilliant solution yet, we'll find out where we're going on these dig outs, and then we'll see what sort of decisions we're making from there. Let's go there. Let's do that. Oh, it's our teleporter we've finally found. What does salt water do, and what's the difference between that and fresh water, apart from not being able to drink one? Well, with a little bit of work, you can actually drink the other one. Salt water has, when he finds it, a slightly lower boiling temperature, but a slightly quite a big lower freezing temperature. So it's quite good as a coolant if you've not got something better. If you want to go down to like 0. Commander Team Kill, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back. You can feed it to water weed, which gets you lettuce, which is meh, but does go into some better foods, but can be desalinated into pure water, which is what we're after here. but that's the main difference. We'll go through our teleporter and come out this way. Right, why have we not... Oh, because we can't reach that. That's silly of me. How are we doing over here? We are, in fact, in a vacuum. Excellent. So what I need to do is, before anything else, disconnect that, and then that can't run because it's got nowhere to go. Now I just need to figure out how to... Oh, that's quite an easy run. How to get that into our... Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to go straight in and disconnect that and put a... it's been playing a different game that uses different buttons for rotation. What that means is that this will have priority. When this is pumping, this will manage to get through all of that. We'll push their gas first, and then this will just add to as it can. The reason that being, I mean, I would rather not have to. Oh my goodness, I've just found some work that we have not undone, as it were. Oh, that's me putting in the Atmo sensor, which I haven't done up here and need to do. But 30 cycles to do that. Okay. Not at all getting squirreled here, people. Not at all getting squirreled. There, and priority 8, all of that. What I do want is I need to put on an Atmo sensor and some automation, make all of that 8, and then we can close that back in and safely ignore it. Bob, is your community of dupes self-sufficient? Not at all at the minute. That is entirely what we are working at. That we're in the mid-game. We are... The mid-game is about becoming self-sufficient. It's about developing automated systems with renewable resources to make this colony self-sufficient. And one of the benefits of that is then we can practically ignore this colony and start expanding to other asteroids to exploit their resources. The one last thing that I wanted to do with all this piping was deconstruct that but that can be done anytime. Oh, no, actually, I did want to also put an Atmo sensor on this. The reason for putting an Atmo sensor on this kind of setup is that if there is insufficient gas in here and you're not wanting to vacuum it out like I did just there, you are more efficient to make sure that there is a small amount of gas in here before this starts pumping. Otherwise you are wasting the power pumping like 1 kilo packets along your pipe, whereas you could just run it 1/10 of the time and run 10 kilo packets when it does run. So yeah, the first thing that we're looking at today. Why have I paused that? I really ought to speed it up, no less. One of the first things that we're looking at today is water, and that's absolutely critical for a sustainable colony, is the phrase that I was after. What I do want to do is I just want to up this. What we're doing down here, if you've not been watching for the last few, is we have had, I think, 4 that we've dealt with. There was one over here as well, I think. What they call spore kids. In this biome, we've dug all of them out so far. We've got one final one, which we are working towards digging out right now. Spore kids give off zombie spores, which are the only disease that I really care about in this game. All the others are a bit meh in comparison. It does something akin to -10 to all stats, so it is one to definitely avoid. Right, we'll get access to all of this because this allows us to go to the twinned planet. See the destination. What have we got over there? It's a largest partially frozen world with a radioactive core. While radioactive swamp asteroids are largely swampy, they also contain a great deal of rust. It gets gold and iron meteor showers. It has volcanoes, cobalt volcanoes, cool salt slush geysers, so maybe we could go over there to get our water, because that is like, off the top of my head, -5, -10 degrees. Carbon dioxide geysers, which are a bit meh. Cool slush geysers, which again are the same temperature as cool salt slush geysers. That one is, I think, salt water or brine. I can't remember which, but I think it's salt water. If I had to put my money down somewhere. And this one is polluted water, which again can be cleaned into drinkable fresh water. A water geyser, which is exactly what we're after, so we may be going over there sooner rather than later, it turns out, and another minor volcano. Plus it's got the radioactive biome, which is one of my favourites. And a forest biome, which means that we would have access to wood. That would solve an awful lot of my problems. We will look at what we're doing over there soon, TM. I need to do this exploration anyway. I need to figure out where we are, what we're doing. Yeah. Anything else I need to be doing right this second, or that I have started, to be more precise? No, I think that is everything that I've talked about so far. So next problem then, I want to get these online. So how are we going to do that? First thing, we need power for it. So I'm going to add in some more transformers. Hook them into the grid. Interesting. Okay. So you wrong button again. So what have we done there? So obviously we're trying to keep the what we call the main spine, which is this heavy watt conductive wire, separate from these offshoot wires. I can't think what the term for them are. Spurs. From these spurs of conductive wire, because conductive wire can only handle 2 kilowatts, whereas the heavy watt conductive wire can handle 50 kilowatts. If we overload any wires, they will start burning out. So obviously I want to get that from this side of this wire to that side of this wire. So what I have had to do is it's going to go like that, and then I'm going to bridge over the what will be a newly built heavy watt conductive wire there. And then I want to rewire. In fact, we can. Oops, goodness. Rewire that in there, and then I can put another wire in here. Yeah, I'll discuss exactly what route I'm going to take with that when I come to taking it. Piscean? First time chatter, please correct me if my pronunciation is incorrect. Sorry. Hi, how did you handle the heat in your colony? This little gizmo, basically. And it's not perfectly handled yet. There are issues, and that is one of the problems that I need to deal with today, amongst others. So we produce oxygen here. That oxygen is coming out at currently 62 I would say degrees. And it passes through this thermal battery, which we are keeping a nice 21 degrees at the minute apparently, although I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be set lower than that. But never mind. How is it kept cool? Basically, this polluted water rotates around. It has 4 3/4 kilos stored in this tank, so that is another thermal battery, and basically as it comes back in, it drips back into there. Obviously it's carrying heat from trying to cool this down, so slowly warms up this pool. As the water comes out, I've got this thermal this gizmo, liquid pipe thermosensor, detecting what temperature it is. If the temperature is over 20 degrees, then it turns on the aqua tuner, which then takes out 14 degrees from each packet that runs through it, pushes that heat into the surrounding atmosphere, which is why you can see it now raining behind it, because it's heating this water up into steam, but then that's hitting cold items and raining back down. Eventually this whole room will be steam. That then allows us to be producing 21 degrees oxygen, which we bump into the base, and most of the base is under control now. That's producing heat, which we probably ought to deal with. This is always going to produce heat, and we might have to deal with that too. And this, unfortunately, you see the drecklets and dreckos glowing in the area. They're slowly warming up this ranch, which is one of the issues that we need to deal with today. Where was we? Oh, we was powering this. You know what? No reason I can't just connect. Ooh. What was the jump? Was that a save or something? We'll take that one out. I'm not going to power all of them, because I've got 18 things. Words, people. Words are always difficult, and today they are particularly difficult. Atmo suit docs. That's the phrase that I'm after. I've got 18 Atmo suit docks, and you can only support 16 on one conductive wire without overloading it. I could potentially run all 18 on it and just hope that they're not all running at the same time, but I can guarantee my luck they would eventually at one point overload the circuit, and then I'd cry. And I've got plans anyway, so it's not going to be too difficult to power the last two. Thanks for the explanation. The aqua tuner is not overheating, so we can see that it is producing lots of heat. It is currently at or let's call it 115 degrees. It's sort of, when it's running it goes up a bit, and when it's not running it gets cooled by the rain. So what it does is it pushes its heat out into the atmosphere. That is limited by several technical factors that I'm not going to go into right now, but what I'm maximising is, firstly, these temp shift plates mean that they're trying to drag all the heat away from it. Secondly, this water turning into steam, which eventually will stay as steam, will allow it to conduct itself into the steam much better than if if it's sat in, say, this polluted oxygen. Steam has a better thermal conductivity and specific heat capacity than polluted oxygen, or any of the other gases, even hydrogen, which is the best, shall we say, normal gas. Steam is better than that. Thermoacoutuner, if we look at its stats, has even in English an overheat temperature of 125 degrees. If we were to build it out of gold amalgam, that would plus 50 degrees, meaning that it can get to 125 degrees, 175 degrees, sorry, before the building started being damaged through overheating. We, however, have built it out of steel, so it can in fact get to 325 degrees before it starts overheating and being damaged. So we will probably try to keep this room to I mean, realistically, we should keep it to 200. That is the most efficient for the things. Steam turbines. That's the most efficient temperature for steam turbines that are running with all 5 vents open. But we will probably keep it around 250 if we can keep it that high at all. But we will definitely keep it under 275. One other thing which I will explain properly at a later date, as it were, I want to also start building a block of tiles just there. Basically, I want a vacuumed area, which I'll explain why once I've built it and it's easier to see what I've done. Yeah, so just going to build out a block there with and put a liquid lock on the front of it. Right, we have not a flux, we have a printing pod activation. Oh, Laura seed. I seem to think a Laura seed is just it's one of the new ones, I think, from the... Let's have a look before we look at it. Okay, Laura plant. No. Ah, yes, this is the one that eats flying critters and drops amber. So that's useful. Could do with some amber. Don't have any. Well, do have shine bugs somewhere. Not sure where they are. That might be what we take. You know, where are my shine bugs? Have they
Daddy,
back?
look at my face.
Darling, I'm on. Yeah. Another cameo by some Bob.
Is he in there?
No. I'm wife Bob. Yes, so let's see. Sorry, I'm completely distracted. Not that I need much of a thing. I was looking at this ice, that would be very nice, but we're about to get a load of ice, I'm pretty sure. I think we're going to go for that, unless one of these is absolutely fantastic, which he is not, and she is not. Sorry, she is not, and she is not. Yeah. So we're going to go for Laura Seeds, which will be great. And we'll have a look at that in the near future. Ah, there's a shine bug. Excellent. That's all we need. Oxygen. So, what I would like to do with the oxygen, come up here, go across there, and we're just going to gas in the first 6. This pipe then will go here, connect into there and do that. Up here. If we've got first 6, that leaves us 12, so we could do 6 and 6. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this last pipe currently comes over there. Let's go this way. Oh, it's going to be doing lots of jumping. Then come up this way. Jump over there, up this way, oh no, and then connect in there, go over there, do that, and then I would like it to come back over here, like it to come back over here. Appreciate this uses a bit more pipe, but it will look better in the long run. Okay. Barring suits, that sorted. So that's that job done. How are we doing on the digging out of areas? Oh, thanks, save game. Nope, don't want to be doing that. Just make those ladders 8s. Oh, that's the neutronium. Okay. In fact, let's cancel all of that. Finish that one off, Ren. Is that Ren? Oh, so I'm getting to know the dupes quite well, actually. So, what can we not see? Pretty much see that. I need to know what that is. Itchy nose today. Sorry. Appreciate that's probably not the most fun visual for you. Right. Let's come in. We'll take out that. now what's that? What we're doing over this side? Right, let's dig down a bit. Another neural vacillator. If you're not aware what that is, it gives you dupes an extra trait, 1 of 4. Well, we're going to come up a little bit. Yep. That's our hermit. Alrighty. Oh, they can't actually get into that. Okay. That's fine. We can fix it. We have the technology. Let's get into our sauna. Deconstruct. That. Doing in the same spot. And we'll just prioritise that because the builder's a bit busy. Right. Oakley doke. I think firstly I think I need to close that up. Secondly, I think we're just going to go priority that as well. And then that should get us what those two are. We know where that. Oh, we're close. Let's go all the way there and see what that gets us. Want to know what's in there. It's the best way to do that. I think we're just going to come straight down. But because we've got more available diggers than we have builders, we're going to do it this way. Right, I need to see where that takes us. We can see 99% of that. That's cool. We need to be looking at getting over here next. Which I think we're going to do like this. So our next problem is seeds. There we go. Blossom seeds. So to feed the flocks, we either need bristle blossoms or pike apples. Don't think, although now I've said that in my head, don't think we've got any pike apples. We do have pike apple bush seeds. Oh. Can't think what pike apple bush needs. It needs phosphorite, which we have lots of. That would be easier than what I had in mind. Right, well that's the problem solved. That's possibly going to be next one, depending how many problems we get ticked off today. Excellent. So we have petroleum up and running. We're slowly going to run that out. And then we'll probably delete that entire line, to be honest. In fact, I am tempted to put that loose now. Right, one of the things that I promised I was going to do today was a bit of on-stream mass for this. What I want to do first, but that's dormant for 25 cycles. Well, that's still producing. Excellent. Cool. Right. Basically, what I want to do is I want to back this up before I start doing any stream mass, and then I'll explain why. Dreckos. Dreckos are our next problem. So, as I said earlier, these Dreckos are producing heat. They have already stifled these mealwoods because they made this area too hot. So I need to put in some active cooling to cool this area. Also, the recent update last Thursday broke this system that I've got set up here. So we need to work on that as well. So Dreckos is probably most of the rest of the stream. Bob looks the king. Wait, my dupes are all peeing on the floor, but I have outhouses. So, outhouses need emptying every so often. That is a tidying and or what's the other one? I think it might just be a tidying or a tidying and supplying, because they need to supply dirt to it after it's been cleaned out. So make sure someone has tidying and someone has supplying, possibly even the same dupe, at a reasonable priority in the priorities tab. So supplying and tidying. Probably have it at like an 8 or a 9. Have the outhouses to an 8 or a 9, and the duplicants will automatically just go empty it. If they still aren't emptying it, then click on your outhouse. I mean, this is a lavatory, it's self-emptying, and put it on top priority until it is emptied and supplied with fresh dirt. When you have a low amount of dupes, that can be an issue in the early game. So don't feel like you've messed something up. I quite regularly end up micromanaging outhouses because the dupes don't automatically do it until you've got basically a janitor dupe. It tends to be one of those things that gets overlooked. So, right. Easy answer. Actually, I want to up some of the... priorities here. Nothing seems to be getting built. So we have this cooling loop. If I look at thermal aqua properties, we'll see that it's only been running 20% of the time. So we're going to pinch some of this system. We already have an existing Harold! Harold has decided to get himself stuck. Of course he has. The easy way to get him out of that is just going to dig himself out of it when he's finished peeing his suit. So what have we got over here? We're still missing this area. Really not sure what's the best way to get that. And we're still missing all this area. Ah, Harold, can you... Oh, fine. Move, Harold. You are absolutely exhausted, are you? Right, when he wakes up, he will dig himself out. There we go. Oakley dokley. I think... Oh, we're still in a deficit of diggers, aren't we? Excellent. Okay, doke. Now over here. I think we're going to priority 8. Yeah, talking of. Oh, excellent, we've done this. We now put that to below. That should pump that out. We just need to remember in the next 26 cycles to put that on what we actually want it. Talking of, if that is above 1,000, that's fine. Right, excellent. It'll pump some extra in. All the way over there. Oops. We need to be looking at this, although I might just go straight up from there, so I'll wait to see what's happening there. Right, back to Dreckos. Not at all getting squirreled. Team kill, you need a compost heap. Then the dupes move the dirt to the compost heap. Oh, you're responding to Bob Locks the King. Not necessary, really. They'll just empty it onto the floor. A compost heap is a way of taking the polluted dirt and turning it back into fresh dirt, clean dirt, if you will. To be honest, I don't use compost heaps. I like my polluted dirt for other purposes. If I was desperate for brain's completely gone. If I was desperate for clean dirt, then I may use it. May use compost, but I'm not at the minute, so yeah. Right, so take that out there. I want that, and I'm going to replace that and put in that. Or do I? Might come down here actually. With granite. The reason I'm using granite is the reason I'm using granite is that it has quite a good thermal conductivity for a mineral. So it's kind of like a cheap version of the radiant pipes. Very cheap in materials, and sadly not quite as good. Split that apart. It may be that we need to add a little bit more water in. We'll see how low that tank gets when we filled this section of the loop. But basically, just cooling this area down to 20 degrees will just keep the mill ice going longer, which is exactly what we want. So that is that system done. Now we need to look at this system. So, firstly, we are not providing this. We need to put in... Oh. Secondly, I'll never put in our... we're not providing these with phosphorite. And we have phosphorite literally sat down here. In fact, these glossy dreckos will be producing it too. So there's no reason that they should not be being provided with that. Oh, we can see our natural gas guys are on, not all getting squirreled. So first thing I want to do is finish off these. Put that there. That there. We can even move that one over a little bit. What are we making this out of interest? Out of aluminum. Don't want to make them out of aluminum. And before all you Brits have a go at me about being a Brit saying aluminum, just check the spelling. It's not aluminium, because that's got an extra I in it. It would seem the devs are on the side of the Americans on this one. There. Right, so what do we want? When do we want it? Conveyor loader. I need to stop playing other games apparently. I think. Excellent, they can both touch that. Another conveyor loader. There. And we just need some conveyors. Out of iron ore. Out of copper. Go there. For the second. That's what we're going for. Power. Can we power all of this? There. 120 watts and they're 120. Yeah, we can power that then. Pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 600 we can. Just. Excellent. Of course we can't power anything else, like say this, but you know. That's fine. That's a problem for Future Bob. Unfortunately, Future Bob's just walked in the door. Should be cheeky. We'll have to move that wire somehow. I will bridge it. Yeah, that's fine. Again, that's a Future Bob problem. Conductive bridging for him. He can figure the rest out himself. Where are we running this? Let's run it. Let's run it lower than that. I will help Future Bob out once again. Not that he ever helps me out, but you know. Oh no, sorry, that's past Bob that keeps screwing me over. How are they breathing? There is so much gas everywhere. Bob Locks, I apologise. I'm guessing I've come to that question a bit late. I'm really not sure what you're asking there, mate. Are you referring to like the chlorine and all the smelly gases and everything? The duplicants currently have to exit through here, or if they're going that way, through here, and they have to go through Atmo suit checkpoint, which means that they have to be wearing an Atmo suit before they're allowed to pass, or you know, take it off. You see Lindsay playing dress up apparently. Yeah, so you know, they have to put on the Atmo suit. The Atmo suit has a built-in oxygen tank and protects them from most environmental debuffs. If you stick them in magma, they will still get a bit too hot. So, next one. Right, we're going to struggle a little bit more with this one. Because I've built it in. You know what? We haven't finished building it, so... Thanks, autosave. I'm going to take that out. Build those back in. Deconstruct those three. That gives us the space to put that one in there. That one there. I really ought to free that trapped drecko, you know. It's only one tile over the lab there. That means they get to share one. Those two do not. Ooh. Already working on it. It's kind of efficiency I like to see. How do you get the oxygen in the base? No, it's absolutely fine, Boblocks. Oh, I've got a printing pod. Yeah, everyone starts somewhere, and, you know, I have no bones in letting you know that I stand on the shoulders of giants to be where I am today. If it wasn't for Tony Advanced and Francis John and Echo Ridge and GC Fungus, I probably wouldn't understand this game half as much as what I do. To be honest, I may not even be playing this game if it wasn't for those people. So, yeah. You know, everyone's got to start somewhere. I will answer your question in 2 seconds. Yeah, no. Anemic will never ever take. Just no one's particularly interesting. And I've got 20 dupes and no desire to take anyone unless they are perfect. So we're going to take some food, which will help with yet another issue that we need to deal with in a little bit. But dealing with this will help with that issue. So, how are we doing with digging? Oh, I will answer your question first, Bob Locks. Sorry, get totally squirreled on a regular basis. I do apologise. Right, so in the early game, there's two things that you need to deal with. Two things. One is gases that you don't want. Second one is gases you do want, i.e. oxygen, or the gas that you want. If you're unlucky enough to start on a swampy start, you will have to deal with polluted oxygen. That is pretty much the only way initially to be getting breathable gases. It comes with downside of yucky lungs, but it's not the end of the world. It just slows them down a little bit, if I remember correctly. What you need to avoid on those downward debuffs is getting too many debuffs at the same time. So if everyone's running around in polluted oxygen, try to avoid them having to deal with slime lung at the same time, because that will really slow them down, having those two debuffs. If you have lots of algae, the best use for that is the oxygen diffuser. You could put it in an algae terrarium, but to be honest, they're rubbish. They don't eat that much carbon dioxide, give out even less oxygen. You are much better putting your algae into an oxygen diffuser and producing lots of oxygen that way. If you don't have that, but you do have water, lots of water, you'll need to do quite a bit of research. You'll need to get not that much research, to be fair. You'll need to get plumbing and air systems to get the electrolyzer, which then turns water into hydrogen and oxygen. That's how you get your oxygen. As for gases that you don't want, build a big pit. That's how to deal with the vast majority of the gases. Just keep digging down is my usual answer until you have some way to deal with the carbon dioxide, or to pump it and filter it into gas reservoirs. If you are going the electrolyzer route, you'll have hydrogen to deal with, so just dig up and have a big area for collecting the hydrogen above you. What you can then do is stick a gas pump in that and then pump it into hydrogen generators. But you're probably best off at the least having a switch on it so that you can turn it on and off manually, but ideally have some sort of automated system, a bit like we have over here, that says, am I sat in smelly horrible gases all the time? If I am not detecting oxygen, if I'm detecting oxygen for a long while, then pass a green signal, turn it into a red signal, stop the pump. If it's not detecting oxygen for a long period, then it'll pass a red signal, which will then knot into a green signal and start the, here we go, look, oh, but it was only fleeting because it is generally just sat in oxygen. And then the early mid game solution is some sort of self-powered oxygen maker, or an oxygen maker of some form. Doesn't have to be self-powered, but self-powered means that it is a long-term solution, with the fail-safe of never what's the phrase I want to use, never failing on you. Even if you run out of power even if I run out of power over here, this will just keep pumping oxygen the whole time, because this gets the hydrogen gas out of here first, and so it just keeps it running. The only way this will ever fail is if I run out of water, which I very slowly am, but I'm working on that right now. Let's just get rid of a couple of notifications. The other thing, if you're having an issue of like this is a perfect example, where things are just pooling on ledges. As soon as you can, get airflow tiles. Sorry, I'm just working out where I want to place my first one. And all the gases will then sink through the area. That's what we're going to do. So that reaches up to there, so that one wants to be there, that one reaches to there, put that there. They will share that tile. They will share that tile, which I can't use. That was silly. Let's work from the other end. So if I put that there, I need to share that tile, and that buffs up to there, and that's still in the way. Oh, that doesn't need to be there at all. Right, okay. Once again, we're going to move it. And then we're going to have the... I'm just trying to minimise the amount of conveyor loaders to go in here. Bob Locks, you're very welcome for the tips, mate. The entire point of this series of streams is to help everyone, basically, whether it is people like you or more advanced players who have been playing for a while but have, say, never got to space, or even the people that have got space but, say, have never built term completely escapes me for the minute, petroleum boiler. We're going to be building one of those at one point. You know, it's to help anyone and everyone who needs a bit of help just getting that bit further in the game. Absolutely any questions, feel free to ask. So you. Oh, let's also deconstruct that. Oh, it paused again. Have I got a heavy thumb today or something? You. We're gonna be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That one wants to go anywhere there. Conveyor rails again. Go there. Jump over. Oh, oh. Oh, and we never did actually complete the jump with... Let's use those correct buttons to rotate our building this time. Let's replace those. Let's replace the wire that I've just deconstructed. Build that in there. Build that there. Let's try and plug that in too. Excellent. Right, so that is these ranches completed. I mean, once we're completed. This is a horrible mess that I need to work out now. Genuinely, I have ideas, but genuinely don't know what the final answer's going to be. Right. I do know one thing. I am going to pause that intentionally this time. I need to... put in that item that I don't yet have. We need to do some research in solids. I need to do cannot see it. Oh. Oh, wow. Really? Okay. So at this point, I'm hoping that... Brilliant. For the final tier of research, whether you have Spaced Out or the vanilla base game, you will need databanks. Now, there are several places to get databanks. In the early game, you mostly get them from analysing geysers and vents. You can also get them from inspecting POIs, points of interest. Yep. Now, fortunately, we've got 70 because we require 30 to get the solid filter, which is what I really want to sort my dreckos out. So, why am I going this way? Conveyor shut off is brilliant for stopping solid shipping progressing depending on some sort of automation. I think that's the best way to explain it. So think of it as a tap on a pipe. If you don't want any more water in your bath, then you turn your tap off. You are the automation to it. In our case, we would probably have either an Atmo sensor or a temperature sensor or I cannot for the life of me think of the term for the sensor, but some sort of sensor there that says, right, we've got enough, or we don't want you to progress any longer, I want you to stop now. And it stops it from progressing that way. We will definitely be using some shut-offs at some point in the not too distant future. Right now I don't need any shut-offs, but they are always useful. Conveyor receptacle, think of it as a storage bin for the end of a conveyor line. They don't hold a great deal. I forget how much they do hold, but it's not a lot. They are, rather than having the conveyor chute and just firing everything down onto the floor, it's a bin for all the stuff to drop into. Conveyor meter is for if you only want 20 kilos of something getting somewhere. Excuse me. Yes, then basically the conveyor meter will allow 20 items to pass, and then it will send, I think, a red signal at that point, which then you can use conveyor shut off to say you've had your lot, stop it running. Conveyor receptacle fitting, spaced out only, moved into rocket. Allows solid material to be moved into rocket storage. Oh right, import into rockets, and conveyor loader fitting is for removing solid materials from rockets. We'll get into that when we get into rocketry. But the thing that I really want is a solid filter. This works the same as the liquid filter or the gas filter. Allows you to specify one thing which will come out of the middle, everything else will continue along the end of the line. Lots of sensors for conveyor rails, and then a large cargo bay for the rockets, which we will eventually want, but obviously not getting into rockets right now. But that does present us with a slight issue of we do not have the final building for oh, that presents us with another issue, which is that we do not have the final building researched for researching what we want, which is the virtual planetarium. So why are we going down this track instead now? We get some things for rocketry. They're just all rocketry items. I will go through those when we get to the rocketry program, which might be next time. I'm mildly dubious we're going to get time to get to space today. We may get to space and start the rocketry program next time, but I do want to make rocketry the main focus of a particular stream, so even if we sort of vaguely look at rocketry next time, I don't think it will really be the rocketry stream. And then Crash Plan is the final orange level of research. Trailblazer module is part of a rocket. Orbital Data Collection Lab is a building for producing yet more data banks. Very useful now. Always been useful, but with the latest update makes it even more useful. Again, part of rocketry really. I'll explain why when we get to the rocketry program. And then the virtual planetarium, which is the actual building that we need to do the research that we need to do. So that's what we're going to do right now. Bob Locks, what should I research first? That is a very loaded question, very tricky. Depends on what your starting situation is. I'm going to assume you're on Terra if you're quite that new to the game. In which case I would say probably those two, which will get you the ability to grow your own food and a mess table, which allows you to create the mess hall and or great hall for a nice morale bonus. Other things that you would probably want to consider is going into power, getting advanced research so that you can do the second level of research, As I said earlier, if oxygen is your issue, then possibly those two. You're getting annoyed with outhouses already, so possibly those two, so that you can have plumbed toilets. It's unlikely you're going to need gases straight away, and decor is a bit of an afterthought. If you wanted to gun straight for the Great Hall, which has unfortunately just taken a bit of a nerf, a needed nerf to be fair. It was far too overpowered how early you could get it in the game. Then decor is that entertainment, employment, and the first two are food, your ticket to getting those +4 morale. But that's what makes this game a little bit harder on the tutorials. That there is, it's very easy to make a tutorial that says if you need this thing, you should do it this way. However, the difficulty is in determining what thing you need. So the first 3 things that you should be looking at in the early game are looking after your gases, as I described earlier. So that's making sure you have enough oxygen, making sure you have somewhere for your non-oxygen gases to go, getting food up and running, and protecting yourself from adverse temperature. If you're on or if you are near a hot biome, you'll need to look at getting yourself some insulated tiles. That's what we had to do over here in the early game, to protect ourselves from a hot biome. That was, still is 38, nearly 39 degrees, and these meal wood can only survive to 30 degrees. And if it's too cold, then you need to put heat creating buildings, things like coal generators, for example. In an area, a rock crusher is a very high heat producing building for how early you can get it in the game, to offset those colds. Of course, if you're starting on, say, the Frosty Planet pack, you actually want to try and keep it cold. You just want to produce warm pockets for your duplicants to survive in, as it were. And similarly, if you're playing the Prehistoric pack, you want to keep it a little bit warm. It's all about what you have that you want to keep about, basically. You know, the Phlox, for example, which is a Frosty Planet pack critter, particularly likes it between -30 degrees and 10 degrees, and he's a little bit upset with me at the minute because I've got him at 31.2, which occurs to me, I wonder if he's not actually not going to lay an egg before he dies, which will be slightly annoying. But if he does, he does. We'll deal with it. We know now we've got arbitraries on the other planet, so that's where we should be looking for. Excuse me. That's where we should be looking for our wood. Right, dreckos then. Oh, I tell you what I want to... no, I don't want to set in place. Maybe I do. But first, I just want to... prioritise that. And it occurs to me they can't get there. What are we going to do about that? We are going to... deconstruct that. We'll put another one just there so that I have to think about that. And we'll put that to 6 too. Otherwise, we are mostly ready over there. Cool. Right. So, Dreckos then. Oh, no, sorry. What I wanted to do was... Ooh, not that. Where I want to place that? There. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is horrendous. It's like I was drunk. Yep, so basically I'm going to build another ranch in there in a little bit, but it's just a side project. What I really want to do is sort this out. So, let's explain the problem for a start. In the old days, you would dump all your eggs in here, and if you needed them, they'd go into the incubators, and then into the ranches. If you didn't need them, they'd just sit there and they would eventually hatch, as you can see, with full scales in time, in their natural time. However, with the new update, and I've even put in a little layer of hydrogen there, so there is the possibility that they could regrow their scales, and whenever duplicants have time, they would come, shear the ones that were available, and you just get lots of reed fibre and plastic out of that. It was brilliant. However, they are now only born with 90% scale growth, which is why I clicked on this one. Oh, he's recently been sheared. He's recently been sheared. Anyway, I'm not sure the changes are working properly, but on the assumption that they are, we'll make this foolproof anyway. Because even if they're not working properly, there's clearly the intent to make it work, and they'll do a change in the near future to ensure it is working properly, is where we're going with this. So, what do we need to do? Yes, the problem is that they are born with only 90% scale growth without the scales on them, and if they are unhappy, then they will not grow scales. If they are crowded, they are unhappy. So the way this worked in the past is you didn't care how many you had in here, because if we go to the room, we've currently got 34 critters in a 57 tile room. You didn't care how many you had in there, because all you was looking for was that first shear. If, like I happen to have done, and this is just a bonus, you get just stacked debuffs is why she was moving slow. If you happen to get another set of scale growths out of it, brilliant. But you're not looking for these guys to produce further offspring. Although in the old days they did used to produce one to replace themselves. So this was just exponential in how many Dreckos you ended up in here. You used to have to come in and cull it, because they live so long as well, on a regular basis, just to recover some FPS. But now the problem is they're not getting a single shear off them, because there's too many Dreckos in there in the first place. So, first problem, eggs cause overcrowding. We are going to extend this room let's draw in what I want to make, and I want that. Dupes can get under there, so then that moves over here, that goes there, brilliant. Right. Deconstruct that, dig that out. Brilliant. Okay. Power then will go to there instead. Another increment there. Copy of that there. Automation wire there. That's brilliant. Right. And then, pretty sure you can't place a door over tiles. You can't. We'll rebuild that. There. Because that won't want to sit on top of the door that I want to place there. What I'm attempting to do is build a separate room. We're going to have the door wide open. Is that going to be a problem? That might be a problem. It's not a big problem, we'll just put ladders over the top of it. Gonna have the door wide open, so the second the critter is born, they can crawl out and enjoy the wider space. But that takes the drecko eggs out of the picture. So we're going to take that one out, and then we're going to place in that there. And next we'll place that one in and that one. Yeah, you get the idea. Right, so that's the first step in sorting that problem out. Okay, with a little bit of editing, we appear to be ready to that's that wire, that's that wire. No. Excellent. And then gases. Deal with that in a minute. So, the first 6 are getting gas. Right. What we need to do is need to build. Go with there. Ooh. Need to build that. That'll allow them out if I allow them out. We're going to say, please make so 5 more suits for the minute. And then I've got to go through and click all of these. You know what else we need to do on quite a high priority? We need to stop people circumventing the Atmo dock, the Atmo suit checkpoint. also want to do is... yeah, that's fine. That's already set to... only allow them back in if there is a space here. Really ought to check how we're doing on digging out as well in a second. Right, so we are changing this over. What do I want to do? I'm going to deconstruct. No. I'm going to cancel that first. Then I'm going to go to buildings only and deconstruct those buildings first. Let's check this out before we finish that off. No one is fantastic, so we'll just have some snack fruit. Thank you very much. Back to the gas overlay. Right, so those gone. I can get rid of gas bridge. That will improve this throughput. Going to allow everyone back in. Will mean they'll dump the suits there possibly, but since we're getting rid of these, it is what it is. Power. Are we out of power? How are we out of power? Am I being a moron? Oh, because we've because and we're pretty much going to sit and watch that. I'll come back to it in 2 seconds. So that does that, does that, does that. Right, so this one then. What did we decide? Ah, right. Bridges were the answer here. Correct button, connects directly into there. You can tidy that up, and then that goes up there. Yep. Right, we need to change a lot of priorities here and there, but essentially. Huh? Oh, that's complete. Excellent. Wow. Essentially, that is that. So our next step is to take that out. They can then come down here and, yep. And using copper ore, we'll have one of those in too. And we'll look at extending that up in a bit. This is now our new entry and exit point. What I would like to do... What would I like to do? Oh, that's going to be annoying. Right, so no one can come back in this way because there's no attached suit docks, which means that which means that there is no vacancy. There's no vacancy, so they can't come in because I've set it to vacancy only. So that means they all have to come up and around here, and this is the only place that we are doing that. However, as I said earlier, do need to... Sorry, really itchy nose. Do need to change some priorities. Just prevent all that oxygen into the area. So, first priority, I want gas bridge there. Higby is dealing for us, and then we're going to do that. What that means is that it will prioritise filling this pipe before it tries to then fill the base. Similarly, gas bridge there, which I won't build now, and that will then prioritise this area before filling the base. 50-50 split with this one. So this is the only other way out the base at the minute, and that leads to our cobalt volcano. And this one is our, a second volcano. We're not digging that at the minute. Why are we not digging that? Oh, because I started too stupids. I made a 3 down. I think I've done exactly the same thing over here. Yep. So, there we go. Oh, And we have found our Somnium Synthesizer, which is a story trait. A very good story trait that we will be using in the not too distant future. Right, we've got our research for those two, so we'll go back to the one that we actually wanted, which was there. Does require us to, however, go to stations, put down a virtual planetarium somewhere. For ease, I think I'm just going to put it down there. No, I'm going to put it there. And the reason for that is I've just deleted all these suits, so I know that this is under subscribed. Don't know how much power that only takes 120 watts, which is excellent. So that is our final. That's not where it's going to finally sit, but that is our final researching station that we need. We will build a proper lab in the near future. Right. This is going to be Shine Bug. Of course it is. Yeah. Thing. Ranch. Just have a look. It's 96 tiles, brilliant. I'll go over exactly how this will work once it's all set up. Okay. So sunstone, yeah. Okay, water is getting quite low now, so I'm hoping we're going to find something of particular use shortly. That's going to be a bad idea. Yeah, that'll work. Right. I don't want to release that salt water at the minute, is my issue. How are we doing we're here. Oh my goodness, we're here. Right, excellent. I want to fill all of that in. Like so. Right then, stream mass. Oh no, not quite. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I have to go dig that out. That's disgusting. How did I leave all that in there? Never mind. So. Right, just making sure everything's all set up correctly. Yep, brilliant. We're happy with everything. So what are we doing in here? Let's do some stream maths. So this average output of 359. You know what? It'll help if I actually press the buttons on the real calculator. 359.7 and this one outputs at 293.5. Okay, so a total output of 653.2 grams per second. If we look at this, we'll find that this prefers to have 20 kilos of material on it at a time. So that means that I have done some random maths for no particular reason. Brain needs to get in gear. What am I attempting to do? What I'm attempting to do is have all of these rails fully loaded at all times, while not having lots of material lying around on the floor. That means that I need to output whatever that number was a minute ago. So let's do that maths again. 359.7 plus 293.5, 653.2 grams per second. We are doing 20 kilo outputs. Per second, potentially. So if we're picking up 20 kilos at a time, how do we output that much? Anyone can... Maths is absolutely my cornerstone, but my brain is absolutely not engaging at the minute. So if we have divide it by memory recall, that tells us that we need to output once every 31 seconds. Got there in the end. Oh my goodness. We are going to go with 30 seconds. That is to say we will have 1 second of output every 31 seconds. That is to say I have 31 there. Right. That will mean that we will slowly build up a little bit of material here. But we don't need to do that, so I will put that on the correct 30. Why do we want to build up a little bit of material? Twofold. One, it acts as a thermal battery in here, holding more heat in the steam, meaning that what's the overheat temperature on that? Oh, right. So what we actually need to do is ensure that we're not overheating our auto sweepers like we have on that one. We don't need to fix that, it'll work fine, but I don't want to damage it anymore. What I will do is disable auto repair just so it's not moaning at me. Excuse me. Yes, so firstly, acts as a thermal battery in there. Secondly, means it sits in here for longer, which means that the output is coming out at a lower temperature, nearer what our thermo tuner is set to. Out of interest, how look? So last cycle it didn't run at all. Last cycle it didn't run at all because that's all just been sat there waiting. What am I attempting to say? But yeah, it's only been running this cycle maybe 75%, but that's just keeping this thermal battery nice and cool, so that the materials that are coming in are nice and cool, and you see, you know, the materials just coming in here, and you see the temperature plummeting. By the time it's coming out the bottom here, it is absolutely to that temperature. You know, it's coming out of here at 12. It's coming back in at 26. And it's managing all this heat. I wonder why that one's so hot compared to that one. It's not that much hotter, to be honest. No. Probably this water. In short, let's tidy that up, and then that won't be an issue at all. Yeah, so twofold. Thermal battery in there, and then it's cooler when it comes out. Yeah, it may end up going into somewhere just as hot as this in the first place, but equally, if it's going into the middle of our base, I'd rather it not be going in with a temperature of 60 degrees. So yeah. So that mass again, those two, right, which were 600. Don't know if you can see my cursor on there. Oh, you can. There you go. 653.2 grams per second are being produced by these two volcanoes. A conveyor roll can hold up to 20 kilos per crate, per tile. So 20 kilos divided by that gives you an output of roughly 31 seconds. That's 30 plus 1. The 1 is a 1 second output, which will mean one crate gets emptied out here. The other thing is we are cooling this tile, which is in turn cooling this water and these solids to our desired temperature. So even if it does come out a little hot, I mean everything there at the minute is roughly sort of high 30s, low 40s. It's all still getting cooled until it gets picked up. Right, continuing our another steam, cool steam vent. What are we going to... Right, I want to know what's there, so that's a nice easy one. We'll go... Do that. That should reveal that. Also want to know what's here. Not so sure how to do that. Let's continue. Downward trajectory. What have we got lying around? What's that? Igneous. A bit of igneous. We'll go down 2, down 3, down 3, down 3, down 3, down 3, down 3. Down 3. And that gets us over there. Right, excellent. What are we doing up here? We have yet to discover all of that space, which we are going to do by... Oh, another one there. Just continue straight up. What else do we need to discover? This. I not been getting there. In short. Excellent. Right. So our central spine is now in place. Not so central, admittedly, but they can get down. Can get over there quite easily. How is our gas managing now? That looks about right to me. Have some mild concerns about... still very breathable. What I do want to do is start looking at blocking the basin at this end. That'll only work so much. Go down here. Deconstruct that. Put that down there. This will mean that we have a sump at the bottom where all the carbon dioxide can sink to, and we'll put in this kind of system. Let's turn our calculator off. Sorry, apologies about that. Yeah, we'll put this kind of automated system down here so it can pump everything out. That means that we are in a mostly enclosed system. What I am going to do shortly, in quotes, probably next week to be honest, because we're running out of time, is close up that side and then put a liquid lock probably over here, but I've got plans for this area immediately. By immediately, again, I mean next week. But I would like to have the entire thing explored. What are we gonna go for? Nope. Nope. So fungal spore. Oh, we have got a flux fawn. So my fears about losing the flocks were completely unfounded. Excellent. Oh, wonderful. Right. Deconstruct buildings. Up in settings from there to there. Deconstruct you. See what else we want to delete out of here. We want to delete you. We want to delete you. Okay. Think. We are getting there. What we haven't looked at is connecting this in. So you get 6 in a. You get 6 tiles now with a shine bug. In 96 tiles, that's 16 in a full ranch. Excellent. Now I've just got to find some shine bugs. And then we want to be putting fuss, barat, shine bugs. No, it's for all of them. Excellent. Leave that at 5 for the minute. That is that ranch essentially built. And we'll probably be putting another one on top of it. But we need to put some automation in there in the near future. Okay, excellent. Exploration. Discovered that. We're discovering that. Hello? What are you? He said in a slightly creepy manner. Okay, excellent. Very much like to look at you. I think that's going to be digging up thing. Looking at that. Trying to look at this. I think we just continue on. Excellent. Right. Star map. Let's slightly cheat. We have found them all. So, what have we got? We've got a polluted water vent, which I believe is 30 degrees. So that's where we want to be going. We have a cool slush geyser, which again is polluted water. And I believe that is -10. So we will also be wanting to go there. Soon as we find them, that's where we're going for our water. Excellent. So that is the problem solved. I just kind of got to figure out where those vents are. So, yeah. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. That in. Put a door in. Put another ladder across the top of that. So the automation we've got is, you'll see that some of these are growing from the phosphorite that we are using. I seem to remember this is phosphorite positive. I can work the maths out next week. What we really want to be doing here is and why not have plastic on there as well? And pincher. body temperature. I like to be 35 or higher. Currently we are at... we're a little bit cold. So this is possibly down to the amount of building we've just done. So, if we look... No, even if I look at this, this will only tell me that I've got nine critters. Oh, we've got 9 critters in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Because I've got a trapped drecko. Of course I have. Of course I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and then that one's 9. Do we have an old one? You know what? Anytime today, cancel deconstruct. Let's just get rid of that extra one. Okay. So you'll see now that is a separate room, even though that pneumatic door is open in a permanent state of open, which means that these eggs, when they're all picked up and actually delivered, will no longer count for the cramped in this room. So that is the first win we have. Yay! Now I've just got to work out the whole getting them out thing. Does that sound convincing? Because it didn't sound convincing to me at all. Ooh, that's our cool slush geyser. Outputs polluted water at -10. I am surprised because I thought this would be our cool slush geyser, but I think this is going to be our polluted water vent. everything's working as I would like it to right now, which is quite good. Quite good, quite good. Right, but we are going to have to call it there, I think. 99 problems. What was that? About 6 of them down. We'll just do this one while I think about it. Is brain not working? Why am I doing that? I'm not going that way. I want to be doing that. Wow. That's how busy our diggers are at the minute. Which means that they... Why are they not coming down here then? Yeah. We'll get there. Let's have a look at a blueprint while I look at someone to raid. What do we think it's going to be, people? Is it going to be socks or is it going to be hand socks? Or is it going to be socks for your bottom? Do I know anyone who is currently streaming? No. Okay. Do we know anyone? Huh, how odd. Okay, I think I might have someone ready. What are we thinking on the thing then? I reckon a building today. Probably a duplicate, really rubbish one, or a building also. Nope, t-shirt. There we go. Right. Back in less than 2 hours with Daughter Bob. We're going to be playing a bit of Don't Starve Together, another Clay title. Really quite enjoying it, if slightly frustrated by it. So yeah, please feel free to join us. It's 2 GMT. That's just over an hour and 40 away. We're going to raid out now. I'm back solo on Tuesday with more Oxygen Not Included beginner's guide. I hope you can join me for that. And then we'll be playing RimWorld Wednesday and Thursday. Same time as usual, 9:30 till 12 GMT. Alright, thank you very much for coming by, and I'll see you again soon.